stops for the lock drill position are adjusted relative to the door stops. Now that we have the door stops in the correct position, we can adjust for the lock drill position. The lock drill stop bolts are in this lower rod. That's for one hand. There's a stop bolt just like it on the other side, which we're up against now, that stops it for the opposite hand. So this is the stop bolt for the lock position on one hand. And when you shift the hand, then the whole drill assembly moves over. There's another stop bolt at the other end of the rod. So this lower rod has the stop bolt for both hands. So the other hand stop bolt is up there. So as it shifts, we can see the stop bolt come into place and stop against the aluminum frame. So when the lock drill is in this position, there's a stop on the inside of the aluminum block here that positions the lock bore. The deadbolt stop is here on this second rod up. This nut will hit against this cylinder when it comes out. So the offset to the deadbolt stop can be measured directly from the cylinder bracket to the inside of the nut. Right now it's at about 9 1/4. We're looking for about 6 inches, so we'll have to run that in quite a ways. So the inside of the stop bolt is 6 inches away from the yoke on the cylinder. So for the opposite hand, the adjustment nuts for the deadbolt position are here. And again, we need to measure from the inside of the nut to the outside of the cylinder yoke at the other end. Yeah, that's good. Faceplate router on the 4000 is located on the back side of the machine next to the latch drill. When it is selected in the cycle, after the latch drill drills, it will shift to the side and plunge in to do the faceplate mortise. The vertical position is controlled by this stop bolt here. The nuts on the top are adjusted to control the surface that is on the bottom edge of the door. The nuts at the bottom control the surface at the top edge of the door. If we have the correct spacing and we just want to center it over the latch drill, we can loosen the lock nut at the bottom and move the entire rod up and down at the same time. To control the other sides, at the infeed or the outfeed end, as it shifts over, there's a bolt here for a stop. Cylinder pushes this stop out. It comes back against that. That controls the surface closest to the infeed end of the machine. And there's a stop bolt on the other side to control the other side. There's a stop bolt here that contacts the stop here. That controls the edge of the mortise closest to the outfeed end of the machine. When the faceplate router shifts into position, it'll plunge forward to do the mortise. The stop bolt here on this rod contacts the back plate, and that's what controls the depth of the mortise. So we can adjust the depth of the mortise with the stop bolts right here. So next we're going to replace the lock drill backup block, which is also known as the upper clamp shoe. So I've already turned off the air and the electricity, and I've climbed into the center of the machine so that I'm inside where the lock drill is. So we'll need to remove the clear plastic guard. We're going to take both of the front two bolts out and loosen the two back ones. And that plastic guard will slip out, and I can set it aside. The upper clamp shoe or backup block is right here on this upper assembly. To remove it, I'll take this thumb screw out. Then that assembly will slide out, and there's the backup block. This particular backup block has been replaced with a piece of oak. It is not the standard backup block. This is a standard Norfield backup block. If you're going to do this, the backup block needs to be exactly 1/2 inch thick. With the upper clamp shoe removed, we can access the lock drill bit. So if it's dull, we can take it out, either replace the whole bit, or in this case, the reversible carbides can be replaced. To loosen the bit to get it out, there are 2 set screws down underneath in the collet that hold that in. To remove the lock bore bit, we'll loosen the 2 top set screws in the collet and pull it out. The door clamp, you got the lower shoe, the upper clamp shoe, which is removed right now. And you can see the door clamp, when it operates, the upper shoe goes down at the same rate that the lower shoe comes up. And this allows the door to self-center, so the latch drill is always in the center of the door, regardless of the thickness of the door. To control that and adjust it, we're going to change the length of this rod right here. This is the control rod that connects the 2 together. This rod has a right-handed thread at this end and a left-handed thread at the bottom, so it works like a turnbuckle. If we loosen the lock nut, if you make the rod longer, it will lower the door, and which will raise the latch drill up. If you make the rod shorter, it will raise the door up and it'll lower the latch drill. So we're going to replace this with a standard Norfield block. The new backup blocks come with no hole in it for the lock drill. First time you bore a hole in a door, it'll bore the hole in the lock drill backup block so that it's perfectly aligned with the drill bit. Because you're going to get a little bit of burning and discoloration on the door from boring the backup block, we recommend that the first door you bore is a cull door or a waste door, that it's not a problem to discolor it. Now that we've got the 4 bolts tight, just set it back on the shaft. Be sure that the small pin here lines up with the hole in the bracket. Reinstall the thumb screw. And then put the plastic guard back and tighten the bolts. The latch drill on the 4000 is threaded into the collet here, and it has a right hand thread, so we can hold the collet with a 1 1/4 inch wrench and use a crescent wrench or another appropriate wrench on here to loosen the bit. And it will simply unscrew.